Welcome to Mindfulness Moments, our little mindfulness series. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming back. I want to continue on the sutra that I've been studying, and it comes from this book by Thich Nhat Hanh, Appointment with Life, and it's the sutra on knowing the better way to live alone, a famous discourse by the Buddha many, many years ago. And I've been speaking about mindfulness and not pursuing the future, not being caught in the past. And I don't know how many of you have read some of the sutras. They're, the dialogue or the teaching can kind of be repetitive, and your mind can actually wander and drift off while you're trying to be mindful, which I find very amusing. So after the Buddha gives his little stanza, he kind of commentates on it a little bit. And he says, what do we mean by pursuing the past? When someone considers the way her body was in the past, the way her feelings were in the past, the way her perceptions were in the past, the way her mental formations were in the past, the way her consciousness was in the past, when she considers these things and her mind is burdened by and attached to these things which belong in the past, then that person is pursuing the past. So he's basically talking about the five skandhas. And then he goes on to say what is meant by not pursuing the past. And he repeats the same thing, but then says, when she considers these things, but her mind is neither enslaved by nor attached to these things which belong in the past, then that person is not pursuing the past. So it has to do with attachment and burden. So sometimes when we embark on this mindfulness journey, we have this idea that the mind doesn't do anything else but follow the breath. But this isn't the case. We're thinking human beings. We have a consciousness. We have these great minds that can do great things. But they can also chew onto something, chew onto a bone long after all the marrow and nutrients are gone. And then it's just hurting our teeth, hurting our gums. We're getting shards of splinters down in our body. This is what's meant by pursuing the past or pursuing the future. When you're attached to a way, when you're burdened by the thoughts, that's your mindfulness bell. That's your chance to wake up to the present moment. So some of us have many, many years of habit energy that is going to take us down that long, dark corridor of being attached, of being burdened, of being worrisome about all these various things that we could have done, we should have done, how we looked differently, how our body responded differently, or worry about the future, worry about the outcome. If we're burdened, if we're attached, then we're not present. So I mentioned having that as a bell of mindfulness. So if we have that long, many years of going down that hallway, you can look down that hallway and say, you know what? I know where this leads. I'm not going to go there. Or before you take that step, or after you take a couple steps, and you catch yourself and you recognize, then you can come back to the present moment, come back to your breath, and then there you are. You're in the present moment. You're being mindful. If you think about these things, but you're not burdened, then you're just thinking about it. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, please comment below, question, and I can go into it further. It's really important stuff. And I often speak of Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and I often say that what I love about this practice is that it's called practice. The fourth agreement is always do your best. And those of you who are familiar with the book and the agreements, always do your best means that you're always trying. You're always making the effort, but you're not attached to an outcome. You're not attached to perfection. You're allowing yourself to slip, to make mistakes, to trip, to stumble, to fall. So we'll be falling out of balance and bringing ourselves back to balance. This is our practice. Isn't it wonderful to have this human condition, this opportunity? Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below if you have any questions.